Hey, howdy, hey, it's Charlie. We're going to tie a micro intruder. This is a fly that I intend to fish for summer steelhead, but you could fish for dumb trout with it if you like. It's going to be effective either way. That's typically what happens in the summer when I'm fishing for steelhead, is the trout will pick up on those flies anyways. So with that said, I'm not going to call it a trout spay type fly. I'm gonna call it a micro intruder. Instead of tying classic patterns, I like to tie on a shank and just make them small. Effectively still kind of doing the same thing that you do on a classic fly pattern for summer steelhead. But with this, I also like to add a little bit of tungsten. These are slotted because I buy the wrong shit all the fucking time, but they are slotted and that's okay. There's a slot in it right there. And I just usually tie that on the bottom. And as you just kind of are finishing up your fly, and if this thing is still wanting to move around, you just give it a spin. And then I use that slot to fill in with super glue so it kind of holds my thread together, and every fucking thing else works out great. Okay, what you're gonna need is Angora goat. You're gonna need some pheasant, some rabbit, and some kind of body material. That's up to you. It doesn't really fucking much matter. And that is the simplicity of this. I may even get out some rump, or slopping or whatever. Kind of depends, but we'll get going at it anyways. Here's the dumbest part about this fly is how many fucking loops we're going to be putting in it. And I'm not a fan of these. Everyone understands that, but surprisingly, I've been using a lot more in my life recently, which says that maybe I am turning the corner on dubbing loops. Maybe I do like them more than I'd like to think. This is going to get separated, pulled straight. Just pull, add it to it, pull, add it to it. And then we're going to tie it into this dubbing loop like a hackle. We're going to make it a hackle. That's what I'm trying to get at, actually. So, kind of halfway there, right? I don't think that this fly has a name necessarily. And because of the nature of it, I was thinking about cutting some of my own pubes out for this fly and tying them in for fucking giggles and calling it the merkin. But I might just call it the puberty fly because that shit looks like a heaping pile of matted up pubic hairs. That's what Angora goat looks like to me. So there we go. Now, give that the old fucking spin. I don't have one of the cool spinners, guys. I have one of these Sanfernos or Sanfiros or whatever the fuck they are called. And it's not my favorite. This thing is not my favorite. It looks nice. Is indeed not that great. So, what did I do with that little plucky fucker? You have options. You can use one of these, or one of these. I prefer this to pluck out my materials and to kind of get that thread exposed, thin it out, get it where you want it. Starts looking where you can actually see your thread in there. And then I need to get a cup of fucking water. I legitimately need to get a cup of water in here so that I'm not fucking spitting on my fingers all the time. Like some fucking kind of degen. All right, fuck it. Let's get it going. I don't, because of the nature of, god damn it, of the nano silk being so fine, such a like a fine thread, I don't usually bring all my materials up and I give it 1 or 2 or 3 wraps. That way you can keep it far enough away from getting caught up in the rest of the material. Well, I mean, like, this is the first material, but you get the idea. If you've ever spun in a dubbing loop materials, and the other, your marabou or your ostrich or whatever, want to find other shit to get caught on, and it becomes annoying. So I just keep it fucking far enough away. And it's been serving me really well. I like it. There's that. 1, 2. Ain't gonna go anywhere. Sharp scissors. Here's the thing that's fucking annoying about this too is sometimes all that thread gets all fucking bound up in here. I've had it get like really fucking bad where it doesn't want to spin anymore. And then I'm just sitting there fucking plucking it off for absolutely ever. So with that in there, I like to give them a brush now. Orange pubes, man. That's what that is. Get yourself a hackle. You choose. There's marabou shit in here, like fucking crazy, which we're gonna use as well. So this shit is a really cool material. I was gifted this pheasant and I've been using it like crazy for years, I should say. I was gifted a lot of fucking pheasant, and for years I've been kind of burning through it. Gotta get that. Eh, fuck it, who cares? Who cares? I am gonna need some hackle pliers for this though. All right, all right. Now, I got nothing to say about this. You just kind of pull these feathers back, you wrap just like you do with any other kind of hackle like this, really. And then we'll pluck that. See all these other fucking like nuisance little things that I tied in up here though? I want to get them out of my way. It'll drive me crazy. That kind of shit personally just doesn't work very well for me. And there we go. Now I feel real good about that. So here we go. Right at the moment, right now, I would like to put in some rubber legs. I have some rubber legs out somewhere. Now, the question is, what color? Do I want to keep it fucking natural, or do I want to kind of fucking send it? This is an opportunity right now to make a decision to get weird or keep it kind of fucking normal. And I'm gonna keep it kind of normal with this. These are a what the fuck is it? Barred chrome, gold clear, silly legs. So I don't fucking know what that actually means other than they're cool. It's a cool looking Jimmy Jam. I don't know if you can see that gold sparkle. Here we go. This isn't gonna take a whole heap and pile because I don't want them to be long. So like take 2 and then I'll just use 2 legs to make 4. And probably trim them off. Gonna go down one side of the fly and then we're gonna go down the other side of the fly. These can be tricky, and the trick is if you're trying to get it on the side to get it a loose wrap, right? And when you come over, I like to give it another loose wrap. And when I get to right there, that's when I'll pull on it and it will stay put rather than slipping around your shank. And then I pull off to this side with them. Try to get it matched up with the other side and give that also 2 gentle wraps before I reef on it. So, yeah, I don't necessarily have to trim these up yet, but I like to kind of, that way I'm not dealing with silly legs that are all up in my way. As always, when you're tying with any kind of rubber leg, you're going to end up wanting to pin these things out of your way, or you're going to have a rough time. I find those hair clips work best. If you're curious, you can see it, but that's what it is. I keep a million of them on here just in case I need more than one. And eventually they break. Like it, I don't know. This was like 100 pack and I'm down to 4. Or they're lost. All of those things combined is the answer. So now we're gonna kind of tie in a body here. This can be whatever you want it to be. And in my case, it's going to be this fucking cool color. This is the only bit of flair I'm probably gonna add to this thing. And I don't actually know what color it is because it's interesting because Lagerton doesn't put down a color on the side. You used to have to know what it is. I'd call that like, well, I don't know, magenta. But what do we call it in fly tying? Charisse or some crap. I think I'm losing my mind all the time, so I can't remember what any of this actually means. I don't know. I don't remember what bright green is over this or anything else. No kind of body, oval tinsel, like none of that kind of crap is going to go up. It's just going to be like this nice color. We'll bring it on up. It is so fucking cool. Undeniably, Lagerton makes the best floss. That is for sure. And you're like, how? I think in person you're able to see it, but it is a fucking beautiful, like silky look, and not all of them have that. A lot of the other manufacturers make like a, I don't know, it's dull. It's like matte. It's not. Maybe if that's the look you're going for, if that's what you're trying to achieve, then that's okay. But I like the shine when it comes to this stuff. So here we go. This is going to be building up another prop. This could be an Angora. Again, right here. And it probably will be in my case. So let's prop it up. Spin it up. I might spin it with just a wee bit of ice dub holographic and do that. This is, again, you want to do the same thing. It's going to be another loop. Here's what's going to happen. Now that you're getting the idea, the hang of it. Uh-oh, need wax. I like to chode it up every time, but I'm not going to do it right now. Where did I put that thing? There we go. Some people will put their finger here. Yes, it is a good idea, and you can release it as you go. Like, keep the pressure of your finger away from it. But this thing fucking spins so slow. I don't know where my Spadeco dubbing spinner is. It's lost in the abyss here someplace. But that thing makes really quick work of this kind of thing. And so if you're gonna, I suggest finding those and picking one up. They take some getting used to, but when you get used to it, it is well worth it. So I'm not even gonna fucking bother to peel that back until I get this a little closer. And now I will do it. Peel back, peel back, peel back. Go, go, go. And gore's just stiff enough that it will create a nice prop. It's a cool material, really, to use. And then we're gonna want to get out some kind of like wispy, whimsical shit here. I'm gonna go all the fucking way with this and hope that it wasn't a bad decision, but I think that I can pluck out what I don't want as well. And you can always use this bead to push back. Get that shoved on fucking back right to where your intruder wire doubles back over. I didn't mention that, but where I double back over my intruder wire, I always know that that's going to be like my spacing for how I finish the forward half of the fly. And it gives it something to lean against as well. So it's kind of, instead, you don't have to create like a thread dam, you can create a intruder dam, intruder wire dam, or whatever. And that is fucking tip top. It's not going to take much to complete this at this point. And then we're going to want another wispy, cool little pheasant feather. And when this is all said and done, we will have a puberty fly. There it goes again. I've noticed that the stems on these things are pretty delicate. Keep that in mind when you're using them, that it seems like they're really fragile. Oh, that was a loose one, the nature of it. Okay. Gonna have to get the hackle pliers on it. It's clearly way too short for me to work with. So I can hear my retarded neighbor over here mowing his yard for the second day in a row. Like, he's a, I don't fucking know, Space Cadet. Space Cadet Bob. He's a rough neighbor to have, I'll tell you that. So, I was going to use rabbit in this fly and finish it off that way, and perhaps I will, but I'm kind of changing course just a little bit. And this is some of the fucking like marabou that comes out of this. I don't know, it's small chickaboo, maybe you'd call it. Who fucking knows? Do yourself a favor, cut out that stem. And here comes another doving loop. And here comes, we're gonna tie this in right at the stem. And I'll show you if I can. See that? Right at the stem. That way it holds it all together. Does what I'm looking for. We'll still probably get polished off with some rabbit at the end. And let's go. Let's go. Told you, many wraps before we actually get to the fucking material here. And here we are, we've arrived. Okay. All right, okay. All right, okay. Ooh. Flip out that turd. I don't know if that was enough. Has a feeling of maybe not quite being what I was looking for. It's not as full as I want it to be. I can assure you of that. So I'm gonna have to get in there and do more. It could be. It would fish just fine, just like this. But I want to give it just a bit more of like that kind of profile. I'm trying to think about what I might do to achieve that. And fucking A, what am I gonna do? What do I have over here? My little scrap bin, scrap pile over here. There we go. This is slopping. And I'm gonna fucking slopping it up. So no rabbit, but that also means this. I am gonna tie in my fucking flash right now. And give it 1, 2. Perfect. Perfect. Gotta be able to rotate that. So let's be able to rotate it here. Push back on that fucker. And try to get... I don't want that fucking heaping pile of shit up in my way. Why I like rabbit is because it really just kind of fills in up here best. Well, I could see if I have the right kind of rabbit as well, but I do think that I can also accomplish it with this. And it's going to be buggy and it's going to be tip top. I'll have 1, 2 stations and it's going to work out fine. So yeah, why not? Let's kind of see what happens. If it looks like shit, undo it. If it looks like shit, lesson learned, and you don't do it again, you know? These are just kinds of things like that I just am thinking of as I go here. So it's funny to make a video to put on YouTube where you don't actually know what the fuck you're doing ever. So if I've always liked that kind of thing. I'm gonna get into this real quick. I like just like tackling things, maybe not knowing what you're gonna do, figuring it out as you go, allowing yourself to make mistakes, and but just being ambitious enough to be like, okay, well, that didn't work out. Lesson learned. Move on. Try again. Different material, different building material, different approach. It's how I learn best. And so I think this was a a fine call here. It's looking like it could be okay. I don't want to do too much of it, however. I got to start to wrap it up. And so how I typically do that is we'll try to get in here at the last second, kind of peel off one side of the feather so I can give it a few more wraps, but it doesn't fill it up and like overdo it. Yeah. I can see what you got going there, bud. Fucking A. Go. There it is. All right. Now we give that some brush strokes, and it will help untangle any of those loose fibers in there, figure out what things actually are kind of looking like, and know whether or not it's going to be the fly that we were trying to accomplish or not. Get those things pulled back. Let's get that taken out real quick. Everything here is a wee bit long, so give your scissors an angle. That always works out well for that. And believe it or not, I think that most of these rubber legs are actually like right on par with length I'm looking for. That's pretty well it. That's kind of like the micro intruder. It's small, 2 stations. Probably should have done a color variant up front rather than doing that same color of Angora. But ultimately, I think that I have achieved what I wanted to here. And it's gonna be a dandy fly. It could be tied better. Again, like we'll get in here and I'll probably solve it on the next one and not do that same kind of shit. Be fucking just kind of yanking out some extra. Like, is it too full to me? Yeah. I want to get some of it out of here. I think it's too full for me. And I don't want that. So I'm gonna fucking get rid of it. In fact, actually, you guys are gonna experience this with me when I undo my shit and decide to abort and just see how rabbit makes me feel. If I can get that accomplished and feel better about it than I do right now. And I'm just kind of plucking out that Angora. This is all after the fact. I don't like how I kept it too big in there, and it's consuming like the entire fly rather than it being just enough of a fucking bump in there. Like there's no exposure to that body, and that's kind of, it's nice to be able to see it. So I'll just get in here and pluck away. Yeah. It's better to do this beforehand. It's less work than it is to do it right now, but I will feel better about it. And I know that. So I'm gonna do it. A little whimsy. I have coral. How's coral gonna look? That's gonna be fucking awesome. Is what that's gonna be. We're gonna do it. Magnum strip, of course. It's an awful lot of fucking rabbit. I have to get some wax. Not all thread needs to be waxed like this necessarily to do this. But if you're using nano silk, it doesn't really hold anything. That's, I wouldn't even say that's a downside because I don't fucking mind adding wax, and it's always holds up just fine once there's wax added. So. Yeah. Just take my time a little bit to get this all in there. Proper. You can feel that wax doing its job, getting grippy. Getting grippy. And now I'm going to cut away. Pull, pull, pull. I do have a card or something that I was kind of using the other day. This, I guess. And this I kind of just used to try to help push it in there and get it as flat as I can. And then it ends up looking kind of like that. Gonna be good by me. Spin it. Where did that brush go? Fucking bonger. God fucking shit. All right. Gonna be better. Watch how much fucking better this actually makes it. Just go like you're fucking just discovering what you want to do in a fly. Rabbit is one of my favorite tying materials. It always feels like it kind of like can salvage a bad fly or make a fly cool. Like if you're like trying to create something, you're like, I just fucking don't know. Just try to add fucking rabbit to it. It'll probably work out. At least that's my feeling. Everybody gets a confidence material, a happy material, something they like working with, and you'll like include it in everything every time. And this is usually one of them for me. But now I've got some good wraps in there. Really give it some heave hose forward as well. We just want to clean up anything that wants to come out right now. It's a good idea just to get it out. I don't know why I find it satisfying, like when materials fall out of my fly, but I'm always like, yeah, get the fuck out of there. You know, that's funny. All right, man, here we go. Whip finish, super glue, and we're done. And I'll kind of recap on it since it was all over the place. It's hard to follow, I'm sure. You can always rewind it and go back and do that, but we'll do it. It started with Angora spun up like a hackle in the back. And that's what that is back there. With some pheasant hackle wrapped over it. And then a body of your choosing. Could be whatever you want it to do. It could be dubbing if you want to spin it up or whatever. Back to another chunk of Angora. We treat it as a prop. And then came rubber legs. I'm sorry, rubber leg. It went Angora rubber legs. They're tied in at the rear, not at the front. And then the hackle, and then a floss, or your choosing, whatever body you want to work up. It's a small body. That's maybe only a 1/2 inch long there. Back to Angora as a prop. Flash, rabbit. And it can be tied with a bead or without a bead, but I like the bead. So I've been tying them with a bead. And this is a micro intruder, or a trout spay fly, or whatever you might want to call it. I like calling them micro intruders. Again, because I'm fishing for summer steelhead. And I don't want to call them fucking trout spay flies, because I don't want to give it that kind of bad juju. You know what I mean? So, did I whip finish it? I can't even fucking remember where the fuck I'm at. This is what early onset Alzheimer's looks like. Now, super glue. I told you that's a slotted bead. I'll run it. You have to be really fucking ultra careful around rabbit, because rabbit loves to fucking absorb super glue. But I'm pretty certain I can see it just kind of, I don't know if you can see it actually. I don't know how well it looks in the camera right now. I could kind of review this after, but it goes right down in that slot, and we'll just sit there and absorb into that thread and rabbit and the materials up here, and makes me feel good about it. Makes me feel like it's gonna hold up. And that's all you can ask for, I guess. Take it off the vise here real quick and show you a completed fly. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. Go fish it. Good luck. Cheers.